Hey, it's Randy again. I'm here to talk to you today about the first step of a 12-step program that I designed for myself. It started off as a lark, as a joke, but it turned into something that's actually very real and has had tremendous changes in my life. So I decided to share it with you guys. I did an introductory video last week. I'm going to be posting videos every single week, every Sunday. So look for that. Today I'm going to be talking about step number 1. Now, the traditional step number 1 for Alcoholics Anonymous is that we admitted that we were powerless against alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. Now, I will agree with part of that. My life had become very much unmanageable while I was drinking. Towards the beginning end of it, I was very manageable. I was what you'd call a functional alcoholic. I would get my work done, and then I'd go home, I'd get drunk. In the morning, I'd wake up, try to drink as much water, wash away my hangover with as much coffee as I could pour down my throat, go to work, and I would do a pretty kick-ass job, and I did that for a really long time. Towards the end, once I started doing Randy's Tropical Plants, I didn't have a schedule that I had to be on, and so I could stay up later and I could do more drinking, and I sort of did, and then it would kind of ebb and flow until the end where it was just I was drinking all the time. And so my life had become unmanageable, no doubt about that. But the problem I have with traditional 12-step programs, now I have a lot of problems, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of them, why they don't work for me. And one of the main ones, of course, for a lot of people is the step number 7, which is to ask God to remove your shortcomings for you. I am not an atheist, and I'll be talking about this in a lot more detail. I am not an atheist, but I'm not a theist. I don't believe in a God like an old man with a beard on a cloud with a book full of names saying who's been naughty and who's been nice. I know this is controversial stuff, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people who, if you watch these videos, and if you are a theist, and if you are deeply religious, I'm not saying this stuff to offend you, and I'm not trying to change anybody's mind about what they feel about any of that stuff. I don't know what the answers are. Neither do you. Even if you say you do, even if you claim to know it in your heart, I know you don't actually know the answers. Nobody does, and that's the point. That's why I'm not an atheist. I don't assert there is nothing. I assert that I have no fucking clue what is and what is not when it comes to that. And I generally, as a scientist, go to Occam's razor, which is not a law of the universe or science or anything, but it is a really good heuristic for determining what you do, which is that which has the fewest number of untestable variables is the hypothesis you should choose. So that's how I rule my life. I don't know what the answers are, but I do think it's ridiculous to ask a God that may or may not exist to remove your shortcomings for you, like some genie in a bottle granting wishes. And it doesn't work. I mean, ultimately, you have to do it for yourself. But that's not even the part that I have the biggest problem with 12-step programs. My biggest problem with 12-step programs is step number 1. Step number 1 is either completely bullshit or a logical impossibility, meaning it's completely bullshit. So it says that you have to admit to yourself that you're powerless, but in so doing, you are taking a step towards bettering your life. And for all of you people that have done that and bettered your life, good for you, man. You are powerful. You took that step and you did that. You went through the 12-step program. You made it work for you. If you made it work for you, that's great, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. But for me, as a person who's scientifically minded and ruled by logic most of the time, I have very strong emotions and I love my feelings. I'm not a robot. But at the end of the day, things have to make sense to me in order for me to wrap my mind around them, for me to follow them and to jump in with both feet. And step number 1 was the thing that I couldn't get past. I never got past step number 1 because I'm not powerless. I'm taking step number 1, I'm not powerless, which means that step number 1 is impossible to do. So I really couldn't get past even that to get further down the line on the 12-step program. Anyway, my first step is to admit to yourself that you are powerful, and that, as a matter of fact, you are the only person that has any control over the decisions you make. The decisions are yours to make. Other people can coerce you or they can influence you, but at the end of the day, you have to make the decisions inside of your monkey noggin, and that's all there is. That's all there is. So take that step. If you're listening to this, if 12-step programs haven't worked for you, try it. Take that step and say, you know what, I am powerful. This idea that I'm powerless, I'm weak, I'm powerless. You should look up something called the reticular activation system. The reticular activation system is a part of your brain that's way back. It's way back past the monkey part of your brain. It's back past the reptilian part of your brain. Actually, fish have this in their brains, and maybe even stuff before fish. And what it is it works a lot like the Google algorithms. It determines what's important to you based on what you normally think. This is why positive affirmations work. This is why, feeling good about yourself makes you do things that make you feel more good about yourself, which causes that upward spiral in your life that I'm in right now. It's also why having negative thoughts about yourself and looking at the world through negative ways causes your brain to look for things to validate what you're already thinking. It determines what's important to go into your brain based on what you're already thinking. So if you're having negative thoughts like, I am weak, you're going to find all kinds of examples of how that's true. So do the opposite. Do the opposite of it. Assume that you are strong, because you are. You're the only person that can be strong for you. Be that strength. And then your reticular activation system will say, okay, this person's thinking about how strong they are all the time. And then they will find that part of your brain, it will find all the examples around you that exist. They do exist if you look for them, of how you are strong. If you start thinking of yourself as being proactive, and not lazy, but having ambition, you'll start having those things because your brain will find ways to prove that you're right. It's your friend, and it's just trying to prove you right. That's all your reticular activation system is. So don't assert that you're powerless. Assert that you're powerful, and you will be that. You will be that, I promise you. So anyway, that's step number 1. Step number 2 will be next week. I won't maybe always do the steps. I might have some silly nonsense, that I might want to talk about instead, but I will be going through the steps in order. I am currently writing the chapter on step number 1 for my book that's basically the companion to this video series, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And also, as an aside, I've decided that I'm going to leave the comments section below to you guys. It's yours. I won't be messing around with it. I'm not going to read any of the comments, so any of you guys feel like trolling me, I'm not going to read the comments. Trolls, that's your place. My only rule about trolls is if you guys start being mean to other subscribers in the comments section, I'm going to block you then. I will not let you bully other people. But you want to bully me, go right ahead. I'm not going to read it. And anybody else, if you want to contact me, there will be email contacts and ways to get in touch with me. And if the trolls contact me that way, brother, you're just going to get blocked. You're just going to go straight to spam. So you can't touch me. You can't touch me. Anyway, to all the other people that want to comment, that's your place. You can have your discussions, and you can have, I hope that it does open up some really interesting discussions for you guys. But I'm not going to be taking part in it. So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you again next week.